Digivation Network.
Hello and welcome to the program Digivation Network. Here we x-ray issues and development in business, innovation and ICT. Again, you're warmly welcome. I am Bayero AGABI. Don't forget you can also be part of the show by subscribing to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Digivation Network and other social media platforms.
This is Digivation Network. Digital economy, innovation, e-business, artificial intelligence are all here with us. Come see what's next as Nigeria's commercial capital hosts Africa's most unique digital event, DigiNext, a showcase of innovation ideas, policies, and the future. DigiNext, future tense today's needs. At the LCC House, Ikeja, Lagos, 9 a.m. is the time. October 21st is the day. Register at www.digivationnetwork.com. DigiNext, future test today's needs. Join us.
This is Digivation Network, Africa's best digital and innovation news platform on television, and I am Bayero AGABI. According to a research by a United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's Business to Consumers Conference Index 2020, Nigeria has dropped to 94 from its previous ranking of 88 in 2019. For details on this and more, please stick around for Adaze Okayene.
The place of e-commerce in the present global competitiveness in world trading cannot be overstated. In developed nations, e-commerce has accelerated industrialization and growth of economies. While developing countries have been racing to catch up, Nigeria has dropped according to the latest ranking from the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's Business to Consumer B2C E-Commerce Index 2020. Out of 152 countries, Nigeria dropped to 94 from its previous ranking of 88 in 2019. Within Africa, Nigeria also dropped to 8th from 3rd position. The news comes as a surprise considering Nigeria has one of the largest internet populations in the world and experienced a vibrant e-commerce upsurge in 2020, particularly during the COVID-19 lockdown. To put this in a clearer perspective, data from Nigeria Bureau of Statistics on GDP showed that the ICT sector of Nigeria's economy grew by 14.7% in the fourth quarter of 2020, making it the fastest growing economy in the country. A gain that was attributed to strategic policy directions, which includes National Digital Economy Policy for Digital Nigeria and Nigeria Broadband Plan, according to the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Pantami. The Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), Professor Umar Dambata, also stated on the 7th of November 2020 at the Nigerian Tech Innovation Awards that broadband penetration grew from 6% in 2015 to 45.43% in September 2020, and basic internet subscription grew from 90 million to 143.7 million within the same period, with teledensity also reaching 107.53% at the end of September 2020. Still yet, among the key indices for the ranking of countries in readiness for e-commerce, Nigeria scored lowest on access to the internet. The question then arises, with such a drastic improvement in the tech space of the country, how come there isn't a corresponding progression in the ranking released by UN Conference on Trade and Development's Business to Consumer E-Commerce Index? We tried to make sense of this when we spoke with the outcome president, Ikechukwu Nnamani.
I'm one of those that don't pay so much attention to inter-country ranking versus what is happening within the country in terms of the year-to-year performance within the country. Is there improvement? The reason for that is anything could happen in any given country. that is a particular moment in time that may appear to either improve or decrease their performance when compared to other countries, but it just turns around by the next quarter. So, a typical example, a few months ago, Nigeria was rated as being in recession, and then just last week, new data came out that Nigeria is no longer in recession. Nothing stops Nigeria from being rated as back into recession next year. And if you were to compare that with other countries, then it may not be a fair comparison. The most important thing is to understand year to year, is the country improving in terms of e-commerce transactions, access to internet and all? If the answer is yes, then it's a step in the right direction. If the answer is no, then it means more questions need to be asked and people need to find out why is the country not improving. Now, how we compare to the other countries and rest of the world is important purely from a metric standpoint, but beyond that, the in-country performance to me has more weight, and I will focus more on that.
The president of Nigerian Internet Association and the CEO of Nigerian Internet Exchange Point, Mohammed Rudman, shared some possible rationale behind Nigeria's slip on the ranking.
High likelihood that Nigeria has dropped in ranking from that 92, which is 86, you said, to 92, right?
88 to 94.
80, yes, exactly. Six line drop.
Yes.
You know, from that, yes, correct. And the parameters you mentioned are actually the right parameters, but when it comes to the broadband, I think that's where you asked. Nigeria is constantly increasing in the number of people that are getting online. If you check the NCC website, you will see that as the end of 2020, we have like around, I think, 154 million people that are online. Out of that, 86 million of them are on broadband, which is equivalent to around 45% of Nigerians that are actually on broadband. So there is a significant increase in number of people that are getting online, but in terms of the ranking, yes, I believe it's possible based on the parameters you mentioned.
He also identified key factors to what may appear to be hindrances to a larger e-commerce ecosystem in the country.
But there are other challenges. If I'm to say, part of it is the availability of the network in so many other areas. Still in Nigeria, you have the underserved and even unserved areas. For the areas that are served, you know, the connectivity mostly is not up to 3G, it's mostly 2G. And with that kind of connectivity, you cannot really do much. So even though we have high population of number of people that are on the internet, as I mentioned earlier, only around 50% of the people that are on internet, out of the 154 million, only around 50%, 86 million, that are actually on broadband. And those on broadband are mostly in the cities, the main big cities. So 80% of the commerce, online e-commerce in Nigeria is actually from those major.
On the index of secured internet service, which Nigeria scored 36, Destiny Amana, the president of Nigeria Internet Group, disagreed with the score, but emphasized on the significance of such rankings on the country's economy.
So with regard to security when you're using the internet, I'm not sure I agree with the statements by the United Nations, because I don't know what their matrix was, how they measured that. What exactly are they measuring? Are they measuring the security with regard to someone eavesdropping on your phone call or your emails, or is it how secure is it from the government who is listening to you? I'm not sure how to answer that question. That is my statement with regard to that. With regard to actual e-commerce and business, a lot of Nigerian businesses, all they had was a website. They didn't have an e-commerce presence. And even the e-commerce people, the people who were selling online, the infrastructure, the way their businesses were built, there was not enough infrastructure on ground for COVID-related e-commerce, because non-contact required a lot of mobility with regard to logistical delivery of your goods and services, and there were hardly any logistics companies that were operating at the time of COVID. Of course, the case has changed now. There's so many one-man businesses who have gone into logistics. If you owned a motorcycle, you started a logistics company.
Considering the fact that these rankings have effects on potential investments into the country, it is imperative that the government give particular attention to the areas of concern as stipulated in the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's Business to Consumer E-Commerce Index 2020. Thank you for watching the Digivation Network. Please click to subscribe and drop your views in the comments section.
This is Digivation Network.
Google held its second edition of Google for Africa 2022 annual physical and virtual event, where it revealed its biggest announcement to open Africa's first cloud data region in South Africa, with interconnecting sites in Nigeria and Kenya. The South Africa cloud region will contribute more than a cumulative $2.1 billion USD to the country's GDP and will support the creation of more than 40,000 jobs by 2030, thereby enabling users, developers, businesses, and educational institutions across Africa to move more information online, improve access options for customers, and jobs creation. The company CEO Sundry Pichai shows the latest example of how Google delivers on the $1 billion investment last year, while SubTech and Google Society James Mayika, Senior Director People Operation Google Olafadikbe, Director Google Africa Nira Patel, among others, speak on initiatives for improved connectivity and commitment to support startups to help boost Africa's digital economy. Google is committed to making the internet more helpful, as vibrant internet is critical for business and organization in Africa. Google partnered with the UN to launch the Global Africa Business Initiative, AGABI, a global partnership aiming to accelerate Africa's economic growth and sustainable development. One of the world's largest events and most influential meeting places for technology industry, thought leaders, innovators gathered to discuss and challenge new ideology, showcase new products, and identify future opportunities at the Gulf Information Technology Exhibition, GITEX 2022, in the United Arab Emirates World Trade Center, Dubai. For over 41 years, the annual tech event features global unifiers of the world's most influential tech startups, ecosystem, investors, culture, and businesses on one stage. At the event, the Nigerian Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with global tech giant Microsoft Corporation to train 5 million citizens on high-demand technological skills that are needed to advance their respective careers on behalf of the Nigerian government.
On behalf of my principal, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, therefore commissioned the federal government's pavilion here in GITEX, while praying to the Almighty to make it beneficial to Nigeria, Nigerians, and to humanity. Bismillah. In the name.
Accompanied by the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, Kashifu Inuwa Abdullahi, CCIE, the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Professor Umar Dambata, the Director General of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, Engineer Aliyu Aziz, and the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Galaxy Backbone, Professor Mohammed Bello Abubakar, as well as some Nigerian private ICT entrepreneurs. The minister expresses delight in the highest number of startups at GITEX 2022. While recounting the gains for the Nigerian team at GITEX, the DG of NITDA mentioned that a $10 million investment deal was signed, apart from the plans and interests other investors have shown in Nigerian startups.
In Nigeria, startups are making us proud, and they are creating hundreds of thousands of jobs.
The annual show was first launched with the name GEET in the year 1981, while the event was already witnessing a growing prevalence. The release of Microsoft Windows 7 in 2009 amplified the participation to a great level. GEETEX Global 2022 empowers businesses and connects people to the most influential public-private partnership, tech giants, creative startups, and enterprises from over 170 countries, with exhibitors showcasing the latest in first-hand technology that has inspired generations and innovations that are set to change the world. I am Omoye Ihaza for Digivation Network. For more on well-researched and balanced stories, events, and interviews across business, tech innovation, and lifestyle, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network.
Harvesting the full potentials of the digital economy and repositioning some of the agencies under its watch has remained a focal point of the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy under the stewardship of Professor Isa Ali Pantami. In view of this, the minister recently inaugurated boards of some parastatals to inject fresh blood to stir their performances and achieve more successes. At the oath-taking and inauguration ceremony, which was held at the Digital Economy Complex Conference Hall in Abuja, Pantami charged the board members to do more and repay the confidence reposed in them by the federal government.
On behalf of my principal, President Muhammad Buhari, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, based on the provision of the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended Section 147 and 148, I therefore admit all of you to the various boards as chairman and members based on your designation. And we wish you all the best.
44 members of the governing boards of Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOST, National Identity Management Commission, NIMSI, and the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, were inaugurated in accordance with relevant acts. The board members are drawn from across relevant ministries, geopolitical zones, and affiliate bodies, including INEC, CBN, FIRS, offices of the National Security Advisor and Chief of Defense Staff, EFCC, among others. In his address, Professor Pantami stated that the responsibility of the respective parastatals are oversight as well as cascading the policies of the supervising ministry. Thus, governing boards were set up in each parastatal to ensure that policies formulated by the ministry are expressly implemented by the corresponding agency. The minister urged them to endeavor to study the enabling law to help guide and advise as necessary.
Furthermore, as we all know that the responsibility of votes of the parastatals are with regards to oversight, supporting the oversight, overseeing the activities of the parastatals, and at the same time cascading the national policies that are being developed by the supervising ministry. As we are all matured, we should try to limit ourselves within the responsibilities that have been assigned to us by the various enabling acts establishing these parastatals and other government policies and directives that may come up from time to time. More than 90% of the board members have been reappointed. And this is indeed very important that this reappointment came about as a result of our recommendation. And we have recommended the reappointment because most of you have displayed maturity in the way and manner they interact with the parastatals.
Speaking on the plans to make the Nigerian Postal Service better improved to help drive government's digital services, the chairperson of the board of NIPOST, whose membership was renewed for a second tenure, Hajia Maimuna Yahya Abubakar, expressed gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for their appointments while promising to help deliver on the mandate of NIPOST.
I'm happy to be called upon, but you know, service to government is not something that you should jubilate. I'll say I'm happy. I have a mixed feeling thing. I'm happy on one hand, and on the other hand, I feel, of course, responsible for a lot of things that concerns NIPOS, and I promise I'll try and do my best to see that under my leadership, NIPOS, under my leadership, a change that is needed is brought to the fore. Thank you.
Similarly, the Director General and CEO of NIMSI, Engineer Aliu Aziz, expressed optimism on the reconstitution of the governing boards of some of the key agencies, including that of the Identity Management Body. He speaks on some of the progress they have made in recent times.
I mentioned that we just inaugurated the board, and the act clearly specified so many the parts of the job of the board. Therefore, now we have representation from all the data capturing agencies and also external people and also the computer council.
The digital economy sector has recorded tremendous and unprecedented achievement across its parastatals, including the increase of NIMSI database to 42 million in just over 2 years. Similarly, 18.44% contribution to the nation's gross domestic product in the second quarter of 2022, according to figures by the National Bureau of Statistics, has been attributed to the digital economy sector. This is seen by many observers as buoyant enough to help Nigeria's economic growth plan.
Digital economy, innovation, e-business, artificial intelligence are all here with us. Come see what's next as Nigeria's commercial capital hosts Africa's the most unique digital event, DigiNext, a showcase of innovation ideas, policies, and the future. DigiNext, future tense today's needs. At the LCC House, Ikeja, Lagos, 9 a.m. is the time, October 21st is the day. Register at www.digivationnetwork.com. DigiNext, future tense today's needs. Join us.
And now to our top 5, which feature stories that made headlines for the week.
The internet brings a major revolution in the world of digitalization. As the world evolves, more people familiarize themselves with the technicalities required to access the internet, ranging from people in the developed and developing countries. Today on our top 5, we are going to be looking at the top 5 African countries with the highest number of internet users in 2022. The internet has a variety of information and communication facilities, and its adoption has steadily increased over the years, with Africa as one of the continents expected to see a major economic growth due to technology. Our number 5 for today is Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a country in the northeastern part of Africa, popularly known as the Horn of Africa. Ethiopia's total population was 119.3 million in January 2022. There were 29.83 million internet users in Ethiopia in January 2022, while the internet penetration rate stood at 25% of the total population at the start of the year. The 4th African country is Morocco. Morocco is the westernmost country in the Maghreb region of North Africa. Morocco's population in 2022 is estimated to be 37.79 million. There were 31.59 million internet users in Morocco in January 2022, and the internet penetration rate stood at 84.1% of the total population at the start of the year. And the 3rd African country is South Africa. South Africa is located at the southernmost region of Africa. As of 2022, South Africa's population increased and counted approximately 60.6 million inhabitants in total. There were 41.19 million internet users in South Africa in January 2022, and the internet penetration rate stood at 68.2% of the total population at the start of the year. The second country with the highest number of internet users, Egypt. Egypt is a country located in the northeastern corner of Africa. As of 2022, the aggregate Egyptian population stood at 102.88 million inhabitants. There were 75.66 million internet users in Egypt in January 2022, while the internet penetration rate stood at 71.9% of the total population at the start of the year, while the number one with the highest number of internet users 2022 is Nigeria. Nigeria is located in Western Africa on the Gulf of Guinea. Nigeria's mixed economy is the largest in Africa, and as of 2022, Nigeria's population was estimated at around 216.7 million. There were 109.2 million internet users in Nigeria in January 2022, and our internet penetration rate stood at 51% of the total population at the start of the year. And these are the top 5 African countries with the highest number of internet users 2022. Don't forget to join us next time for another interesting edition of Top 5.
That is the show for the week. Until next week, please reach us via our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Digivation Network. I am Bayero AGABI. Peace.